Hi guys, before we get into today's video, I wanted to talk briefly about the wildfires that recently happened in Maui. They are the deadliest US wildfires in the past century. These fires have devastated a lot of families. Not only do the locals and Native Hawaiians have to deal with the grieving of their loved ones and their friends and family, but the financial repercussions, the devastation of their homes, like people have lost everything. People who already have to live paycheck to paycheck, have several jobs to even be able to continue to afford to live there because gentrification and tourism is making the land get more and more expensive to live on while minimum wage still stays at $12 an hour. So if you have the means to donate, I strongly urge you to please donate whatever you can to help out these families. I've pinned a fundraiser to my Instagram bio, but the funds from this fundraiser aren't able to be withdrawn for at least like another month from now. At least that's what it said in the description of the fundraiser. So if you want to help donate to the families that were affected by this directly, please go to the link in the description of this video. There's a spreadsheet of a lot of Venmos and PayPals of families that were affected by this. And if you want to stay updated on resources and ways to donate and just learn more about what's going on in general, I strongly suggest following TR Lawrence on Instagram. She's been posting a lot of updates and ways to donate to families directly who have been affected. Okay, let's get into the video. Hi guys, I'm filming on my iPhone today. iPhone! I don't have the normal setup. I'm in a different place, as you can tell. Don't care. Fine with it. Originally today I was going to do a video on the whole thing with Drake and Balbi Altoff unfollowing each other on Instagram, the interview she did with Drake getting privated, and like all the clips of the interview just being wiped from her TikTok. Some people are saying this is a PR stunt. Some people are saying that Drake like hooked up with her and dipped, even though she's like a married woman with children. Like, I don't think that's what happened. But instead of focusing on that and Drake just like being a freak in the past in general, I kind of wanted to have like a bigger conversation about the concept of fame changing people. I don't know, that's just something I feel like is like a common thing people say about famous people. As if like the famous person is like at fault for changing. I think that people seem to change over time with fame and become just like disrespectful people. I don't think that becoming famous is an excuse to just become a piece of crap. But I think it's inevitable that people change when they become famous, because the way you're treated as someone who catapults to fame changes. The people around you treat you differently. Celebrities are so dehumanized that naturally, yeah, they're gonna change. Oh yeah, no, that's something's gonna like happen. They're probably not gonna talk to the same people that they talked to before they were famous, because the people that they talked to before they were famous probably also changed the way that they treated the celebrity. So it's like naturally they're gonna lose touch with people that they once were close with. But it's interesting, this is kind of left field of the whole Balbi Altoff and Drake thing, but just thinking about Drake and looking into Drake and his career and how it's changed and how the way he's approached music has changed. It's interesting to see how the way fame changes people can be reflected in their art too, and how someone who once was so revolutionary to the genre that they're in can make music now that is so lazy and just doesn't even hold up, does not come close to comparing to what they once used to do. No one had really bridged the gap between rapping and singing the way Drake did in his prime. Yeah, people had incorporated melody into rap before him, but no one had quite done it like Drake. Like, he wasn't afraid of being seen as like a soft rapper, and the way he talked about women in his music was just less objectifying. But his past two projects were so boring. There's nothing really different or special going on in, because he knows that he can put out anything and enough people will listen to it that he doesn't have to worry about good art in order to make money. He can just literally poop out of his butt and he'll make millions off of it because he already put in the work to do something revolutionary. He doesn't have to work hard anymore to make something different and unique. So why would he? And it's like, okay, you go from a song like Best I Ever Had to being like, say that you're a lesbian girl, me too. Like, come on, really? Like, that's where you are now. Come on. He used to be good. He used to be so good. And I feel like this happens a lot with artists that once were different, once were unique, and the very thing that got them to be where they are and how successful they are, they kind of just like lose that. Or they keep doing the same thing that got them famous over and over and over again, but getting worse at it, that it's like, okay, this was different like 20 years ago, but it's not anymore. Like, you gotta do something else. You gotta do it. And what better example of that is there than Eminem? When he put out that one album that like was different, was revolutionary at the time, like the amount of internal rhymes and the wordplay and the double entendres in his music and like the different flows he had were different. Like, they were unique. But ever since that one album, every single album he had made after that album always talks about how like, oh, my songs aren't played on the radio. Oh, people don't like me. I have to work harder because I'm a white rapper. Like, it's like, dude, no. Enough with that. Enough. He's an interesting case because he's changed over time. Like, he has gotten worse while still doing the same thing he's always been doing. But that's the problem, is that he is changing, but he's also not changing. Like, he's gotten more and more upset with the fact that people don't like his music over time, where he'll complain about it more and more as the albums go on, to the point where he gets to like Kamikaze and Revival. Well, Revival and Kamikaze. Constantly he's talking about how people didn't like Revival in Kamikaze. It's like Kamikaze is literally just about how people don't like his past album. It is insane. But at the same time, not acknowledging the fact, like, yeah, your songs aren't gonna get played on the radio. You talk about like killing your girlfriend and throwing your body in a lake. You can't play that on the radio. And it's like, what he was doing back then with those shock value lyrics, they were different at the time, because Eminem can say stuff like that without being investigated by law enforcement. Like, not everyone's gonna like that. Like, you gotta expect that. And he's let that get to him so much over time that it's reflected in his art. And the more he starts to care about how people think about him, the worse art he makes. And the more he's like trying to kind of keep up with the times while also rejecting what people think is good. Like, the song Not Alike is literally just an entire song where he sort of just like comes at Gucci Mane, he comes at Chief Keef, like so outwardly is doing like these impressions of them, like to sort of satirize what they're doing and be like, oh, like that's how much we have in common, like we're not alike, like you don't make music anything like me. And just like how bitter he is that these people are popular but people don't care about his music anymore, and people don't think he's as good as he used to be. So it's like these other people's fault that he's falling off. And aside from the music stuff, just in general, like look at someone like Justin Bieber, who was once this cute little boy who would like sing about, you know, girls and his crushes or whatever, and make music videos in the bowling alley. And then he grows up and like is spitting at his fans off of a balcony. And although I don't think fame is a valid excuse to become a disrespectful, ignorant person, at the same time, it's like, how can you expect a person who wasn't famous and then became famous to stay the exact same person when everyone around them is treating them differently when they become famous? Like, look at what happened to Justin Bieber. Look at how the media treated him. Yeah, a lot of people loved him. All of these girls were like freaking out over him, idolizing him. He's like their celebrity crush, whatever. And it's like, that's dehumanizing in its own way. People are like throwing stuff at him on stage, and it's like they're seeing him as above human. This is like their idol. This is like a god to these people. At the same time, all these teenage boys, all these people that are like his peers, people like little boys his age, and adults too, hate him. He is the punchline of like so many jokes worldwide. And look at the way he was interviewed in the past. Like, I'll play some clips. It's disgusting how some of these adults are talking to this child.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Who apparently wanted to know what a Bieber butt felt like.
Thank you. I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
Hey. My husband never gave me the sex talk. Okay. So why don't you give me the sex talk?
I feel uncomfortable right now.
Oh.
Why do you want to know the sex talk from a 15-year-old boy? That's pretty weird.
Like, how can you expect someone like him to grow up and just not make any mistakes along the way? Like, how can you expect a child who is treated that way to grow up and not show signs of like resenting fame. Do I think Justin Bieber should have spit off the balcony? Do I think Justin Bieber should have said Anne Frank would have been a believer? No, I don't think that's an excuse for those things, but I think it's sad. It's really sad. Think about what happens when a person goes from not being famous to being famous. At first, it's like this huge ego boost on a level that you've never experienced before. Like the thrill of being admired by a massive amount of people has got to be exciting. That's a new feeling. That is such a new feeling that like you have not experienced before, and now you're famous and you can't escape it. And especially as a musician and in entertainment in general, but at least in music, the shelf life of a pop star it's hard to maintain, especially now with TikTok. New like trending musicians or whatever, pop stars are coming out of thin air. It's like the market is already way more saturated than it's ever been. So maintaining relevance as a musician is really hard now. And that initial thrill of being massively loved and like being the it person or whatever, and like having that ego boost, like is now accompanied by the visceral fear of falling off. And when you're a musician, you're held to a higher standard. You can't really make mistakes or else you'll be slammed on social media. You're followed everywhere you go by paparazzi if you're like at that level. And if you lash out at the paparazzi, oh, all of a sudden you're crazy. Look at this celebrity, they did something crazy. They like punched the camera of the paparazzi. Oh, they're like crazy. And without like, well, yeah, no, anyone would go crazy. Like, anyone would be not like, well, yeah, no, it's gotta get old. It's definitely gotta get old after some time. It's like you lose that privacy, that massive boost of people loving you, the idea of you, they don't really know you, admiring your work is also accompanied by a massive amount of people hating you. For a lot of the time, no other reason than the fact that you're famous and they're bitter, sad people. There's no celebrity that gets to like celebrity status without having a ton of haters. And it's interesting because a lot of the time there are people that hate on celebrities for no reason and just come at them for doing anything. But then sometimes the hate is warranted. But because there is so much unwarranted hate and so many people that are just bitter that these people are famous and successful, the criticisms that aren't warranted can be brushed off as like, oh, people just want to hate me for everything. And can you imagine how when someone gets catapulted to like Justin Bieber level, Billie Eilish level, Eminem level, whatever, those people who surrounded those people naturally are going to treat them differently. I'm not even famous, but literally just from having success on TikTok and YouTube and my music career, just like the slightest bit of success has made me grow distant to a lot of people that I was once close with, because they could either become entitled to your success or bitter that you are more successful than them, even though you guys start out the same level, or maybe they have more skill than you did when you both met, and somehow you become more successful than them. I cannot fathom the way that people who actually are famous, who are like famous, like Justin Bieber level, how those people around him in his life changed. Look at someone like Britney Spears. Her own family took advantage of her. Look at what happened to her. That is so sad. Like, that is such a heartbreaking story. Even the smallest taste of any type of success can change how the people around you treat you. And it wouldn't be surprising to me if these are the very same people that turn around and they're like, this person changed when they became famous. They're a different person now. We don't talk anymore. We used to be close and now they've just changed since they became famous. Famous people are dehumanized all the time. You have no more personal freedom. You're followed around by paparazzi all the time. You can't even go to dinner without being flooded by like flashing cameras and stuff. They could be seen as like total gods by their fans, idolized to the point where they're seen as above human. They can do no wrong. Fame is not an excuse for people to become awful people. Fame is not an excuse to treat people around you with disrespect, to become like a diva, to become entitled yourself. It's not an excuse. There are famous people that are good people. There are famous people that treat people around them with respect, are humble, but I think that a person changing as a result of fame is inevitable. And when you become that level of fame, a lot of people around you don't treat you with respect. So it's like, you gotta think that these people are just like, well, why should I treat others with respect if people don't treat me with respect? You can kind of understand it. I don't think it's an excuse. Like, I don't think it's right. But it's like, I don't know. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Once you get to a certain level of fame, it can just totally isolate you to the outside world. It's so much harder to like make new friends and meet people because it's like, oh, why does this person care about me? Are they just trying to use me for clout or the people I know or connections or start their own career? Or do they actually care about me? It's just really sad, and I don't think anything can prepare you for those feelings. Nothing that anyone can tell you can possibly prepare you for what it actually feels like to go through those things. Because I feel like a lot of people when they're younger, oh, they dream of being a pop star, you know? And then it's like, oh, well, the reality of the dream comes with a lot of negatives that you could never imagine. I would guess, right? I don't know. So to answer the question in the video, does fame change people? Yeah. I bet it does. It has to. It has to. Everyone around you starts to treat you like you're not a human being. That's going to change a person. But I don't think it's an excuse to treat people with disrespect. I don't think that we should let celebrities off the hook for doing bad things just because we feel bad for them because they're famous. Like, I think that, you know, they can still be wrong. They can still make mistakes, and they should learn and grow from those mistakes. But yeah, I think we should just remember celebrities, they're just other guys. Like, they're just other guys. Just other freaks. And I don't think celebrities should treat their fans like they're their friends or that the fans are below them. What do you guys think about all this? Let me know. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to this channel. It would help a lot. I upload 3 times a week. And let me know what you want me to talk about next in the comments. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Bye.